what's up? I'm a pretty good project manager, thank God. I'm actually kind of scared to say like I feel like if I do a video like this where I talk about how I'm such a good project manager and I'm having a great time, like tomorrow my team members just like drop the thing because technically I'm not paying them. There's no contractual obligation on their end to fulfill this project, this mission. But so far it's going really well. I think I was talking to a friend right before this. I think what's really helped me be a good project manager is that for the past couple of years, right? Like I've made this thing for over 1,000 days, way over 1,000 days. I've been working on various things, whether it's like a game development project, whether it's like an AI agent thing, whether it's a RAG thing, whether it's this or that, spatial intelligence. And as such, I've developed a good amount of experience in like niche fields, but also just broadly. And I'm able to see things. I'm able to quickly learn things, quickly understand things from various backgrounds, various fields. And I think really does help. Like right now, I have a spatial intelligence project and I have a AI D&D project, and for either one there is tasks that each person is assigned that I don't necessarily fully understand, but I'm able to quickly grasp with like I've done something similar. I can understand the logic. For example, I was talking to we're doing progress checks and I was talking to someone about the work they were doing. I was like, okay, this is really good, but they were essentially basically building like the database of the memory integration for session states for an AAD&D game. So it's Dungeons and Dragons. It's played over sessions. So how do you integrate that memory stain into how do you integrate that into a dungeon master to properly understand the memory for that? And it was going pretty well. The session states were like some context summarization, kind of like the idea. But then immediately I was like, okay, this makes sense. But for example, if I have NPCs, I can imagine like a full thing for over like 10 games. How does that work with the NPC? Because if I kill the bartender and the bartender is actually the son of the king, and the king needs to know I killed the bartender, how does that work for memory? Because that's something that can get easily lost in the summarization of a session because it's not immediately important to the session, right? So like if you have 10 sessions, by the seventh session, that recent event, that piece of information may be lost. And I saw that like, okay, I know someone else is working on the graph approach for multiplayer memory integration with each multiplayer, with each person's background integrating that. So you're probably gonna need to use a graph approach similar to them, and then do that in your thing. And I was like, that was like a quick thing, right? Because usually, 2 years back, a year back even, I probably wouldn't have I wouldn't immediately have caught that. But like now I'm able to see something like that just like as physics. Like I'm able to see that if I drop this thing, it's gonna fall. I understand like gravity. I think it's less of me seeing the future and more so just understand the logic for how stuff like this works. Because once you work on enough stuff, you get to see a pattern, and that pattern kind of becomes logic. Maybe that becomes a flaw at a certain point, but that's a issue for another time. I also do think it's fun. I think I'm building Star Labs, so at some point I guess I do have to operate as a PI and I guess oversee multiple projects and leading my own project. How does that work? I think this is really good experience. Like for all the orgs I'm in, I'm a project manager for all of them now, which is fun. I still get to build stuff because I kind of like short staff for each one, so maybe I'm not that great of a project manager, but it's nice because like I get to really just have I get to have enough room where I'm not too deeply involved, where I'm deeply carrying the project, but I'm also involved enough where I'm able to guide the project with my experience and learn more about different stuff. Um, I will say though, right now there has been some issues I've been noticing. Like one, it's like I've learned I've had not even an issue, but like I've learned I can't just be like a whimsical dude. I have to learn how to be able to set boundaries for a team. Like I remember I had a D&D meeting, it was today, so I was heading to that. Then someone from my other team, they needed to cancel their attendance for the next week's meeting. Because for example, like okay, you let me know ahead in advance, and it seems to be an okay thing. But I also had someone who wanted to not to attend virtually for this meeting. And just for context, I do only in-person meetings. I realized virtual does not work for my teams, right? So I only do in-person meetings, and this person attended virtually for last week's meeting, and they're virtual, like they only attend virtually because they had an exam tomorrow, and that makes logical sense. I would do something similar, but I realized that if I allow this, right, it would be great for him because exam tomorrow, but also for the culture of the team, for the momentum of the team, and his individual momentum, it would not be great. So I just said, hey, I would much rather, it would be more preferable for you to come. And that sucked because like I just gave someone the pass like a couple minutes ago, but I had to say no to that. Like those are stuff I've learned. I have to do much more in these type of roles where it's like I can't just be ha 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 whimsical, whimsical, but like you also have to be able to see like, hey, this matters for the sake of a team. I think it's kind of like niche reference. In One Piece Water 7, there's a moment where one of the characters leaves the team for good reasons, fairly good reasons, but then they want to come back without properly respecting the captain. and that would do like while that'd be nice and just like oh everyone's friends again, it would be bad for the culture of the team because it would lower it would weaken the structure of the team. I think that's why I say I don't see it like oh you're disrespecting me, but more so there's a culture, there's a momentum that we have to respect, we have to adhere to. And if I'm to be too loose with that, we lose it and the whole project falls apart. So I think that's the way I see it. So that's really interesting. But I do think in terms of issues, I've noticed that everyone here is still students. This isn't like a full career job where it's like, oh, this is the only thing you're doing. This is more so like you have maybe two other clubs and you have exams which are really hard. Like even my exam now, I was really disappointed with the grade I got recently. And it's like it's hard for me because I have to understand both that you're a builder and you're a student. And I can't say you're fully builder. I can't say you're fully student. Because if I say you're fully student, then that's basically you no longer being part of the team. If I say you're fully builder, then I take away your graduation. I take away your learning from you, and you're paying a lot of money for you. And it's like it's a good experience overall. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance that. I think right now the philosophy I hold in mind is I'm personally fine with busy weeks because we all have the same expectation as being students. But I think right now I'm trying to get them into a habit of letting me know in advance. Like if I have a busy week coming, I'm like, okay, I have a busy week coming. Let me know that I'm not gonna be able to get this a lot of work done this week or these next couple of days. And for some people it's working. For some they're still getting the habit of. I think I also have to start doing more prompting because it's not something that comes immediately in mind. Even with this D&D meeting, I was like, oh, it was like near the end. I realized, say, let me just be checking what deadlines work, how someone's week looking. Because usually someone will say yes to anything you tell them to. Like if I say, hey, this is the deadline work, they're gonna say yes, but they might actually have a bunch of exams right before the deadline, right? And I was like, oh, obviously you're not gonna get it done in time. So it's more so I have to dig it out of them. I'm like, okay, let's move. I then do some negotiation. I say, okay, let's move it here. Let's move it here. Let's see how that works. Um, so I'm gonna be doing more of that. I think that's one issue, but I think that should be fairly resolved. I think exams aren't as often as I think. Also, it also has to be a bit uncomfortable. Where obviously you have exams, but like sometimes you just have to deliver. Like you can't just fully say, "Oh, I have exams, so I'm just going to throw everything out the window." I like to do that, but that's not something you can do. So obviously I have to get that to be clear. But right now that's working really well. Another thing I really want more of, I'm getting more of it in one group, not so much in the other, because in one group I have them all work on the same problem just to work in parallel to see who can find the solution, and I'll just get them on board onto a very complex problem really fast. With the other group, I've kind of segmented. Like there's specific tasks for each person. So with the first group, I'm seeing much more communication, not as much as I would like, but definitely much more than the other group where it's like they have submitted tasks, and I want both groups to have I don't want to say synergy because that's the buzzword, but like I really want them to be communicating much more, because I think that gets a lot of work done fast. It also inspires you to do more work. When I see an active group, I'm like, oh dang, these guys are actually really work on this thing. Let me learn from them. Let me communicate. Let me just really get more involved. Um, so I think with the first group, it's just a matter of ramping it up, maybe just encouraging them more, throwing more stuff to spark conversation. Like right now, I just moved a one-on-one. Was like a group chat conversation. But I moved a group chat conversation that was became one-on-one to back to group chat. Cause like, oh, I checked out your code. This isn't working. Why is this didn't happen? I could just like, oh, give me the logistics here. So I moved that to group chat just so one, everyone who has a similar problem can understand what's going on, but also just to see more conversation and really just inspire more people to come to groups and say, hey, I have this problem. So like every time someone asks me an individual question, I really prompt them to come to the group chat because it's not anything that's personal. It's like, hey, I have this going on in my life. It's more so just like a technical question. Like, hey, let's go ask our fellow teammates. With the other group, I really don't know yet because I tell them to talk in the group chat, but they all have different tasks that really don't blend well into one another. Like I do have some on teams, like there's two people on teams, so I imagine there's some conversation going there. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um, but yeah, I think it's going well so far. I do find a lot of funny moments with it. Like sometimes Son if someone drops out, like very early on, we had like a couple dropouts. If someone drops out, I see less as a failure on my part, more so a failure on the school's part. Like, dang, you just really have to get people at a better level or whatever. But um, I do think there is something I've noticed. And I think it's less with my groups, but more so overall, in that there's a lot of talent, especially at the school by schools in general. I think it's with CS students, there's a lot of people who have a student mentality and a builder mentality. I think they're very different things because a builder still learns and it's still like is still learning and is like a build that has more initiative to go do stuff themselves. But like a bunch of people are very much still students in that they have the mentality where it's like, oh, I have this assignment, I'm going to do the deadline. The teacher told me to do this. I have this assignment, I have a deadline. The teacher told me to do this. It just keeps on going like that, and it's very it's not very hard, but like very I don't see as often people transitioning from that student mentality to builder mentality as I would like. Because I do think that's the end goal, right? I think, well, if you can call it build, you can call it research, but the end goal of any CS student is really not just for you to be an A plus student, but more so for you to be able to go solve complex computer science problems on your own and with a team. And it's really interesting how you get people from that point to other point, because it's not necessarily incentivized. It's not incentivized at all, because CS classes are hard for good reason. So how do you say, hey, take time away and then go chart your own path? So I would definitely love to investigate that more. I think there's avenues. I think it's really more of a gradual approach rather than a stark approach. Like you can't just say, "Hey, jump across the bridge." Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that's something I'm gonna have in the back of my mind. One, just be working on it more. Even with Big Think AI, maybe introducing people to more open charted problems. Like I was thinking of adding reading groups as a division. Like remember, I talked about Agora, which is meant to be like this research thing that's like more of an open discussion. But like maybe that could become an initiative where we have something like that where like introduce people to open charted problems, and as such, people then become more interested. Like, hey, I know I'm doing really my CS classes, but how can I go work on this? Right? This seems like a really cool thing. I want to work on my own time. Um, but we see right now, I think I'm doing pretty well as a project manager. I think I have really great teams. I think I'm really blessed with that. So maybe that's just the case. Or maybe it's just both. But I think I'm going to work on those two issues, see how I can address them, and then obviously just ramp up the work with the spatial intelligence thing. I've had them working in parallel for I think 2 weeks now, so I want this to be the last week they're working in parallel, and then by next week they have their individual or group task. So I'm really just going to wrap up the completion of the parallel task right now, by getting more involved and just saying, hey, I'm going to take the best approach from each one, and say, hey guys, maybe I find the best approach, maybe someone else finds the best approach, but I'm just gonna have to say this is the best approach. Now let's go do our individual task. And with the D&D one, I've already told them I have them. They've gotten the foundations done. We're almost done with the foundations, and by the end of this week, we're hoping to have everything be able to integrate into an MVP by the end of next week. And once we have that, push much harder just to go crazy and everything else. Um, I think the last thing I'm thinking about really is for Big Think, we have these edge teams, right? These project based teams. But I've been wanting to get people more incentivized or more interested in these teams. What if we more so take them more from being a project based team and being a startup? Because a lot of these are startup ideas. So let's look at the AI D&D thing. And just to give you a rundown, a lot of my text based D&D is not a text based game. Right, it's an imagination-based game, and text is an easy format to imagine, but it's not an text-based game. So like this could even be a startup in itself, right? The other one, it could be that the other one's a bit more complex, but there's a lot of stuff we can do. I think will incentivize people to like, hey, I want to be in startups and get other experience. So it doesn't even have to be like a startup, but like if we market it as such, maybe that could give people more incentive to be more take more initiative. So those are some thoughts upon the back burner, but keep on working on. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.